Welcome. I gotta say this before I get started. We're getting Hell in a Cell June 20th. Why would Vince do that? I think I know why. Scared. He doesn't have great content, so he's cranking up what normally would be for near the end of the year for now, because I think he's scared. Raw's not doing well, SmackDown doing marginally well, and NXT is not doing well. So my feeling is, even though he's making money hand over fist, his content sucks, and he's trying to please his peacock overlords. I'm saying it now. Peacock overlords. That's the only way that I can see him doing this. But was this WrestleMania Backlash a good show? It had some matches that were good, and it made a person. That's the way it works. I think it made someone. But let's go through the show. I did not look at the kickoff show. I got tired of doing that stuff because it gets tired of waiting almost 1 or 2 hours for the damn thing, and then, no, not today. But I will say, whatever it was, it probably was okay. If they even had it. My guess is they did. First, we had the Raw Women's title match. Rhea Ripley versus Charlotte versus Asuka. You guys tell me below. Tell me what you think about this. Because when you look at, she's in my face. I'm going to try and do a couple of images here. Not going to do many. But Charlotte, tell me if she doesn't look plastic now. Charlotte was never a gorgeous looking woman. No. She's like a stick. She's a tomboy. She's like this. She had breast implants because she was so damn flat. But if you look at her now, compared to what she looked in NXT, it's not because she's using more makeup. It's because she looks plastic. She's had plastic surgery. It's obvious. Something to her mouth. Redone her boobs. She's wearing heavier makeup. The person that Charlotte used to be doesn't look like she exists anymore. Now, most people will say, well, it's a stark improvement. Honestly, if you got to change that much to keep your spot, what do you think you're going to be like when you get married? Remember, she's with Andrade. Now, he's probably all right with the look, but how long does that look stay functional? Things tend to droop after a while, even with boob implants. So, I'm just saying. Honestly, the match, I didn't like it. Because when you really look at the match, and Rhea Ripley won, which I was quite surprised to win. I was very surprised she won. But it does make some sense. If the story is true, that Charlotte did everything she could to get her man released from his contract, she is currently eating shit a little bit and liking the taste of it. Because as you guys know, Vince does not like people getting on his nerves. So I'm not saying that Charlotte is 100% in trouble and is eating shit, but she might be taking a little taste of it, like a little whiff, like, ugh. She might be doing a little bit of it. Doesn't mean she's totally, but it looks like she is a little bit. Second, we got The Miz versus Damien Priest. Now, I know I'm skipping around. I will get to Ray and to Dominik in a minute, but I got to get this over with. What did... You were advertising for Dave Bautista's movie, Army of the Dead, in a match using zombies as the guest lumberjacks. Are you joking with me? If you heard this last year before, you say, well, they're trying something new here. That's kind of interesting. Some people, not everyone. Some. But we're talking about Damien Priest, who has had a winning streak from what I remember on NXT and was, well, not NXT, but on the main roster. He's been having a winning streak. On NXT, he looked dominant. On the main roster, he's been winning, but he didn't look good. I'm not taking anything away from Bad Bunny. He did take this seriously. He had a match that was better than you thought. But you're still talking about Damien Priest working with The Miz. The Miz. Who is basically acting like he did before he became the real Miz that we liked in 2011, who legitimately didn't screw around, who didn't care about doing Miz TV, who didn't care about nothing but destroying his opponent and winning. The Miz has not been that way for nearly 6 or 7 years. He has not been that Miz that went to WrestleMania. We haven't seen him in years. So he's reverted back to the millennial Miz. This is what we got. You got the Miz fighting with Damien Priest to stop the damn... You got these idiots fighting against zombies in a match that's supposed to have lumberjacks. Is Vince a little desperate or freaking what? Now, you could say if this was a themed special show, it was funny, cool. But Vince is trying to make this a special D-class pay-per-view into an A-class pay-per-view, calling it what? WrestleMania Backlash? A little bit of a gift from a little remnant, not a gift, a remnant of WrestleMania in this Backlash show. When did they do that in WrestleMania? Only thing they did was Bad Bunny, not zombies. It was ridiculous. And Damien Priest, I had to look at it. I didn't care. I checked out. Was it funny? It was not that funny, haha. It was funny like, this is stupid funny. Not the funny, haha, stupid, but stupid funny that they go this far for Dave Bautista. And that's what it mainly feels like. I'm moving on. We got Dominik and Ray versus the Dirty Dogs of Ziggler and Bobby Roode. Now, Dominik gets hurt before the match starts. So Ray goes out. And I knew there was no way Dominik wasn't coming out. This was going to be about Dominik trying to show how tough he is, trying to come back from adversity. That's what I felt the very moment I saw them in the ring. I did not think Dominik was not going to come to the ring. I knew he was, and I was right. Now, was the match okay? Yes, it was fine. Like almost every match here, except for the first one, it was all good matches. Not the most greatest matches, but many of them very damn good. But not great to classics. It's just not happening. I'm sorry. Comes close at the end of the show, near classic. But it was not a classic. And I'm talking about Cesaro and Roman Reigns. I'll explain that in a minute. But I didn't expect Dominik not to come out. He did come out and they eventually won. Now they've made history as the first father and son winning a tag title in the WWE. Here's the thing, guys. You could have had this moment on NXT. Ray could have had the match with Dominik against anyone from NXT. They would have won, and it would have still meant the same thing. And to be honest, it should have happened on NXT. You know why? Because Dominik makes no sense on the main roster. What Bobby Roode screamed out in one part of that match saying, you don't belong here. Honestly, he doesn't. Dominik is a NXT Performance Center wrestler. He's not ready for the main show. He's not ready for the main roster. The person that wanted him there was Ray. Ray made the biggest freaking mistake of his life. Because when it really comes down to it, guys, and I'm not against Ray. I can understand as a father myself. As far as I know, I am a father. Hopefully I am. But as a father, I want the best for my son. While I've been injured, I gave what little money I had to my child. And made sure what little I had went to him. I would die for my son. And I understand Ray would do that for his own son as well. But sometimes parents have this tendency to want to give the best to their kids when they're not ready for it, or they should not get it unless they earn it. And you look at Ray with his son. Yes, this is a wonderful moment. But Dominik should have had this on NXT because he's not really meant for the main roster right now. You can feel it when you look at Dominik. He has no freaking personality. He's Dominik Mysterio. He's Ray's kid. He's not Dominik. We want Dominik. not Rey's son, Dominik. Rey, Dominik. It should be Dominik with Rey, or Rey with Dominik, not Rey and his son Dominik. He doesn't feel like his own man. And that's why this made no damn sense. Flat out, even though it's a nice moment for Rey, because after all these years, this is something Rey wanted. I'm sure of it. Rey's a few years younger than me. He is. He's younger than me by maybe 4 or 5 years, because I'm 50. Seeing Rey like this, I'm sure this is what he wanted before he retires. Because he may work a couple of more years, but he's almost done. But still. Now, Bayley versus Bianca Belair, which was a SmackDown Women's title match, and I believe is way better than what we got on Raw. I'm sorry, guys. If you love the Raw match, more power to you. But if I had to evaluate Raw compared to SmackDown, having Charlotte there made no sense. Rhea Ripley winning and pinning Asuka made no sense. If it had to happen, it should have happened without Charlotte there. So that was not what was needed. I know I didn't say that earlier, but I have to say it here. And when you look at this match compared to the other match, it's far superior. It's a better match. You got the longest reigning SmackDown champion in a Bayley, who now writes in the back of her head in color the person she hates. Bianca. I don't remember exactly what she said on the back of her neck, but she did that. Then you got Bianca Belair, who really hasn't come into her own yet. To be honest, I'm being honest here. I do love Bianca. She is an amazing talent. The woman has more strength than most men on the damn roster. Let's be honest. For pound, she's the equivalent of Cesaro. That's how strong this woman is. She's damn strong. She's agile. She's athletic. But she's not fully there yet. She has strength. She has look. She has a charisma. But there's still things that's missing. She's not a ring general. And she may have good ring work. But that doesn't always translate, particularly if you don't have the mic skills to go with it. So Bianca does not have mic skills very well. And she's not a ring general. She can go in the ring. She is exceptionally strong. And she does have a level of charisma. But not everything is there yet. She still needs time to develop. And I kind of wish she didn't win the title right now. Particularly that she doesn't have any competition. Sasha's not there. And only Bayley is there. The two women last year that held down SmackDown's women division. And Raw, if you're going to say it like that, because they did do the tag titles. And both of them held both titles from both brands, not companies. You get my point. She's just not there yet. But the match was the better of the two matches. And I do agree that even though I'm not happy that Bianca is still champion, as it stands now, she should be champion. Because I can't see anything else. And she uses her hair to win. Even though you got Bayley trying to use it against her, she uses it back and wins over Bayley, and that's how you get it. And you see Bayley getting so mad at Pat McAfee and at Michael Cole. She can't stand either one of them. She's now yelling at McAfee. She's now yelling at Cole again. And you guys tell me below, how do you feel about Pat McAfee as a commentator? You got Cole here. You got Pat McAfee that goes up and down. I mean, I don't think he's found himself yet. Because when you hear the commentary throughout the most of the show that's for SmackDown, you can hear and feel that McAfee is still trying to find himself. Because he'll go up here, and it seems really good that he's easily a little above Cole in enthusiasm. Easily, great. But then he just loses it because he just wanders off into the woods somewhere, and he kind of gets lost a little bit in translation when he's trying to relay his feelings of how the match is going and how the moves are, because it's all Cole describing the holds, and it should be McAfee doing a little bit more than that, and he's not. You guys tell me below. Now, we had Braun Strowman versus Lashley versus Drew McIntyre for the Raw title. let me give it to you like this. The ones who did the most work was obviously, look, I don't want to chew out a Braun Strowman. I don't hate Braun. In 2017, the guy was freaking hot, but they didn't hit it. All of his weaknesses were hidden by how they booked him so strongly. But now they're not booking him and protecting him like they did. All that garbage when he was working with Bray Wyatt exposed how bad he is. When they could have had him when he was hot and he was hiding his weaknesses, now after they expose those weaknesses, he feels like nothing. And he was nothing because he ate the pin. It was obvious he was going to eat the pin. But I was obviously surprised that it was not Drew who won. It was Bobby Lashley to retain. So that means maybe Bobby will not drop the title at Hell in a Cell that's coming out in June. Maybe he'll drop it in August, if they're going to August, July, August, for a SummerSlam. Maybe he's dropping it there. Because right now they're doing nothing with Drew. Drew is lost. The question is going to do, what are they going to do next? And I want to make this clear. If I find out this Monday that Drew McIntyre gets another shot at Bobby Lashley, that is the most stupidest thing. And it would be worse if he wins. I'm just saying. But Bobby won here. He looked great. But the question is going to be, who is Bobby's opponent next? Because you already done Drew multiple times. You now done Lashley dealing with Braun Strowman. Who is next? Unless you're bringing back Keith Lee. Keith Lee would be a great person for him right now. Because there's nothing going on with Keith. Unless he's sick or he just feels so depressed because of how Vince has booked him, he doesn't want to work. It counts. If Keith is hurt, fine. And hopefully he recovers. If he's not hurt and he just doesn't want to work because of Vince, there you go. I'm just saying. Now, finally, the match of the night for me personally. Cesaro versus Roman Reigns. He was made by Roman. That's what I'm going to use the title, I think. He was made by Roman. Look, Cesaro's always been a great talent. I've always believed, like many others, back years ago when he first won the Battle Royal, when we didn't know what they're going to do with it, the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal, no one knew what Cesaro was going to be like because they never did the Battle Royal before. He is the first person to win it. The first. And we all thought when he won this title, maybe they're going to push him. And they paired him up with Paul Heyman. And Paul Heyman used the heat from Brock Lesnar and translated over to Cesaro. And you thought in months, you're going to see Cesaro as a champion. WWE champion or world champion. No. He never got anywhere until he became a part of the Bar with Sheamus. And has now won 7 championships, no matter if it's Raw or SmackDown. He has always shown how great he is in the ring. But Vince never got him. Until this year. Finally, you see what Cesaro can show. Not just his in-ring work, but his personality. Cesaro is not someone to screw around with. He is straightforward and he will come at you. And when you see this match, it shows. When you look at Roman Reigns, he doesn't take him seriously at first. He says, all right, come on, let's go. And then he starts getting a little pissed off because he's noticing he's having a problem with him. Especially that he kicked out of 5 pins. That was kind of 1. When was the last time you heard anyone in recent history kick out? Not once or twice in a match, but 5 times. 5. If I'm counting right, it was 5 times he kicked out from Roman. He showed how durable he was. And then when they went to the arm, which hopefully he didn't really get hurt, because when he tumbled out, when Roman kicked him out, he did land pretty hard on his right shoulder and arm. And hopefully he was fine. But sooner or later in that match, he did get cut up in his arm. He started bleeding. He did start to bleed. That wasn't a joke. The ref had to put some gloves on because he was bleeding. And he's hopefully not actually got hurt, but he tried to sell his arm injury a lot. And he showed how freaking tough he was throughout that match. Look at the one, I think I'm going to put one picture in front of me. I can't remember. When he started trying to throw the sharpshooter on him, and that's Roman getting a sharpshooter by Cesaro. He kept doing everything he could to get that sharpshooter on, including having to do it with his left arm because his right arm gave out. Then he went to a crossface. He did everything he could to win this damn match, and even taking 3 guillotines from Roman Reigns, because Roman tried the guillotine not once, not twice. He tried it 3 times. The 3rd time, he finally got him, and he passed out. He never tapped out. He passed out, which does protect Cesaro. And I gotta say, the 2nd guillotine and the 1st one, seeing that Cesaro literally prone on the mat, being pulled really hard and his head turning red, getting up and slamming Roman really looked very good. Honestly, he was made by Roman. Roman made him even more. But here's the thing. He did not win, which I'm not surprised. They're not going to let Roman job now. Particularly in a D pay-per-view that's being packaged as an equivalent A pay-per-view of WrestleMania. It ain't going to happen. That's what you got. But seeing him here, you wonder where they're going to go with Cesaro, if they're even going any further. Because Vince has this stupid attitude that if the person really shows incredible ability, and even with marginal mic skills and charisma, and Cesaro's got a good amount of charisma, and he has a decent amount of mic skills, sometimes they'll go like this, and Vince just loses interest, even though they're red hot. So seeing after the match was over, when he woke up after he was passed out, that Jey Uso, who was having a problem earlier because of Jimmy. Jimmy was not playing games. He was not wanting to be a part of this. He don't want to be Roman's bitch, because that's what it's coming down to. It was about the family of the head of the table not really working together. Jimmy is not working with Jey and Roman. He's not doing it. And before that match started, when Jimmy was not there, Jey was there, showing that he was in his corner but gave some doubt. Roman didn't want to have nothing to do with him. He said, don't come out. But when the match was, he came out with a lei, put it on him to acknowledge him, and he asked him could he beat the crap out of Cesaro, which he did. At least until Seth freaking Rollins comes out for some stupid reason, and you wonder, oh no, is Seth Rollins going to be the one who's next for Roman? No. Steps up to Roman, wearing his loud jacket. He looks at Roman, smiles, and then he attacks Cesaro, and then destroys Cesaro's right arm, right here. So their feud is not over. But the question is now, what about Cesaro? You can't just leave Cesaro in a feud with Seth Rollins forever. You got to do something with him. But what? That's going to be the question. Because he is protected. He passed the frick out to the guillotine. So he didn't tap. He didn't get pinned. He passed out turning bright red. He exhibited extraordinary ability in the ring, which hopefully Vince will take into account and keep pushing him. But as it stands now, what is for Cesaro? Just to be stuck with Seth Rollins for a couple of months until what? Maybe SummerSlam? Maybe after dealing with Seth Rollins a little bit longer, dominating over him eventually once he gets his arm taken care of in story and hopefully not in real life. You hope beyond anything that we get this match again between him and Roman at a signature pay-per-view called SummerSlam. This is still a question. I don't know. You guys tell me below. And I hope you enjoyed this. I don't know why they call it WrestleMania Backlash. Please give me a comment below. My Gump report should be coming out and will be about Thea Trinidad. Peace.